Driving in SCR is one of the most fundamental rules and also one of the main purposes in this game, where you can drive a train from one station to another until you completed the route. This game has many different trains to unlock and explore, including routes despite having a massive railway network. Without driving, other roles like dispatching, guarding, and signaling will be useless. Now with the version 2.0 update, where the new driving system comes into play, the set system has changed to make it almost realistic unlike the previous system. However, many players are not happy about the new system, as it is quite unpredictable, especially when stopping on a station at the correct place, such as the correct car stop marker and stopping close to the buffer. If you're not careful enough, you might go further than you expected and potentially overshoot the car marker or even eat the buffer. Another scenario is when you slow down too late, causing you to overspeed, overshoot the platform, or even pass the red signal. Hello everyone, I'm Janeda. In this video, I'm going to show you how to drive properly. You may apply this for your overall driving experience, as well as your qualified driver training if you haven't done it already. Maybe one of them is hosted by me. Let's start. First of all, driving properly or nearly perfectly comes with experience, meaning the more you drive and familiarize yourself with the network, the more experienced you become. So if you are new to the game, you should expect mistakes such as overshooting, passing the red signal, and eating the buffer. Once you are starting to get used to it, you'll become more experienced and reduce mistakes. Speaking of experience, it will take a lot of time to know all the errors of the game, since the network is massive, so it really depends on scenarios. It will take several months or even years to familiarize the whole game. When it comes to driving properly, this isn't just about solely focusing on driving from one station to another. It's about knowing directions of your current route, slowing down at the right time using the distance from your next stop, and similarly slowing down for upcoming speed limit changes. As you do this often, you'll gain knowledge on areas that you have explored. There are even more details that you should pay attention to actually drive without mistakes. Well, almost, and I will explain now. You should be aware of what operator you will use. These operators depend on distances between stops and station platform length. For example, Wotolai can mostly have short distances between stations and shorter platforms, while Express and Ele can mostly have longer platforms, faster trains up to 125 miles per hour, and longer distances between stations. For Connect, it really depends on such areas. These are important so you can slow down at the right time and also stop perfectly at the correct car marker. You'll see what I mean later. Let's talk about trains. You should pay attention to what train you will drive, specifically your maximum speed and the number of coaches. This also includes the train class number because some trains can have specific car markers at some stations. I'm gonna start off using the Class 801. This train has 9 cars and a maximum speed of 125 miles per hour. I will explain more as we go on this demonstration. It is also recommended to read the driving guide first, which contains all information about driving. Link in the description. Once you have spawned at any depot and drive along the route, you should pay attention by the following. Number 1. Your train class, maximum speed, and the number of coaches. I have already explained this, but this will be useful for different aspects. Number 2. Your speed limit. You should follow the speed limit at all times, unless you are either approaching a station, a signal tells you otherwise, passing a warning indicator sign, or encountering a disruption event. Do note that when passing a warning indicator sign, you should slow down immediately to the set speed, especially when your current speed and the speed limit is the same. This is how your speed was reduced before passing the speed indicator sign. Number 3. Your next signal aspect and its distance. You should follow the rules for each signal aspect. For green or white shell signals, proceed up to your current speed limit. For double yellow, proceed up to your current speed limit but prepare to slow down or slow down in advance. For yellow, proceed up to a maximum speed of 45 miles per hour unless the speed limit is lower. For red, stop in front of it until it changes. If your signal is red at a station, do not close doors until it changes. You should also pay attention to how many miles you are from your next signal aspect, so you know when to slow down at the right time depending on the next signal aspect. Number 4. Your next station and its distance. It tells you how many miles you are from your next stop. This is important so you know when to slow down at the right time depending on the platform length, which I will explain later, and your current speed. For example, if your speed is currently at 125 miles per hour and approaching a station, You should start slowing down between 0.5 and 0.6 miles before the station. If your speed is currently at 100 miles per hour, you should start slowing down at 0.35 miles before the station, which is a general recommendation to start slowing down. This means that the higher speed you have, the earlier you should slow down when approaching a station. On the other hand, the lower the speed you have, the closer you should slow down. Number 5. Your route. You should know the directions based on your current route, meaning that when you encounter a junction, which of these tracks is the one you'll be routed on. This is important because one of the tracks can have a speed limit change after, while the other one remains the same. For example, you're driving an express train where you depart from Leighton Stepford Road, then your next stop is Benton. Now, there's a directional warning indicator saying 75 with the right arrow, meaning you're approaching a junction that goes straight, which goes to the Morganstown branch, and right, which goes to Benton. We know that it's going on the right track because the next stop is Benton. However, you should slow down to 75 miles per hour once you see the set indicator. There are other ways that you can tell where you'll be routed on, such as the feather signal and the route indicator. There are similar situations like this, so you have to pay attention and familiarize yourself with where you'll be routed on. Number 6. Entering a station at the appropriate speed. In general, you should enter a station between 20 and 35 miles per hour according to the guide, which should be applicable to all stations and also to average drivers. What if I tell you that you can enter a station above 35 miles per hour only if the platform is long, which mostly happens for Express and Airlink? What I mean by that is the longer the platforms are, the higher you can enter a station up to a speed of, let's say, 60 miles per hour in my personal opinion. Also, you won't get penalized nor punished for entering at a higher speed, as long as you can stop correctly. For average or shorter platforms, enter between 20 and 35. You should also pay attention to where the correct car marker is positioned. So if your train only has a few cars, the correct car marker is likely located at the middle of the platform, so you should enter a station between 20 and 35 for that case. On the other hand, if your train is long and the correct car marker is located at the end of the platform, you can enter at a higher speed. This is because it takes time for a long train to reach the marker if you enter a station between 20 and 35 despite having a longer platform. An exception for this is when the speed limit is lower, just like terminal stations where you have to slow down to 50 miles per hour or have a caution signal aspect. In conclusion, entering a station at the appropriate speed depends on the platform length and the location of the correct car marker. If you're not ready to do this yet, you can enter between 20 and 35 as usual. Number 7. Stopping at the correct car stop marker. After entering a station, there are car stop markers that's designated for a train to stop there. The question is, which one? The first thing you would look for is a car marker that has the same number as your train cars. For example, if your train has 2 cars, you should stop at the 2-car marker. If there's no 2-car marker, look for a higher numbered car marker, which is the 3-car marker, and stop there. If not present, repeat the process. Only if your train cars do not match with all of the numbered car markers should you stop at the S-car marker. Going back to the train I'm driving, the Class 1, it has a specific car marker, which then you should stop at, as long as the numbered car marker has the same number as the train cars. If there's a 5-car Class 2X marker, I will skip it because I'm driving a 9-car train. There's another one further, which is the 9 and 10-car Class 2X marker. Now the real question is, how to stop at the correct car marker perfectly each time? First of all, when stopping at the correct car marker, your front of the train should align with the marker. This is considered the perfect stop. Now, after entering a station, you should pay attention to where your correct car marker is located. You can do this by zooming to see markers easily and find the one that fits with your train and the amount of cars. Once you have found the correct car marker, pay attention to it. You may slow down gradually as you get close to the correct car marker, because the braking can be unpredictable if you're driving at a constant speed after entering the platform, which will have a possibility to overshoot. Once you are very close to the marker, your speed should be at around 5 or 10 miles per hour. That's where you can set your speed to 0. The braking will take some time to stop, which is around 4 to 5 seconds. So I recommend observing the distance of where you should start stopping. This also applies to stopping in front of the buffer. In some cases where you think your train will undershoot the correct car marker, you may increase your target speed for a little. Be sure to not accelerate too much, otherwise you will go further than expected. Then, start setting your speed to 0 again, depending on your current speed and the distance from your marker. This one can be tricky, so it requires some prediction and practice. If your train overshoots the marker, just stop your train. There's nothing we can do. What happens when you are stopping at a terminal station with the buffer? The first thing you will look for is the correct car marker as usual. If there are no car markers at all, you may stop in front of the buffer. Sometimes it can be the same thing when the correct car marker is located on the buffer. And that's it. you now know how to drive properly in SCR. You may apply all of the things I mentioned to your driving experience. Do note that the things I mentioned here doesn't mean you will be an expert at driving right away, because they require time and practice to actually become an expert, or let's say pro driver. As I said earlier, driving properly comes with experience. But hopefully, these are helpful and you can eventually drive properly and pass the qualified driver training if you haven't already. Consider liking and subscribing if you indeed find this helpful. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.